Hey guys, welcome back to Maelstrom Gaming Studios. I'm Craig.
And I'm Connor.
And today we are going over the wisdom of the Prognosticars for the Grey Knight Codex. These are also, as we like to call them, the chapter upgrades. They are the upgrades you pay anywhere from 10 to 30 points for to give to specific characters. Connor will be giving us a nice deep dive in some tactics of the best places to use these and how to use them as efficiently as possible.
Yes.
So before diving into this video, please like and subscribe if you haven't already. And if you're interested in supporting the channel more to get a little more content from us, consider being a member here at Maelstrom Gaming Studios. You will get premium content from us as well as access to our Discord channel. Now, with all that out of the way, let's dive into this video.
All right, you guys. So we're going over the chapter upgrades, the paid extra points. For Grey Knights, they're called the Wisdom of the Prognosticars. We have 2 sets of them. Is that normal?
No, most people that I've seen so far only have the one. Tyranids now only have one, so
yeah,
you're lucky you got 2.
Yeah, so we have 2 different sets. You can give, essentially the stipulation is it needs to be a Grey Knights character, and that's it. You can put it on any Grey Knights character.
Is there a limit to how many you can take?
1 per guy. Okay. But I believe that's it.
That's it?
Yeah, there's no other stipulations. We'll have it up on the screen right now. You can't give its name characters. Otherwise, you can't give 1 of each to 1 character. It's 1 vision or 1 gift.
Okay.
To a character.
Sure.
So you can see some prices of them there, but we're going to go more into depth here. So let's get to it. And the first one is called the Visions of the Augurium, however you say it. First one is Augurary of Aggression. I will read these in full, and then Craig and I are just going to go over what we think you could do with them.
Sure.
So this first one. Once per battle, when a friendly Grey Knight's core or Grey Knight's character unit within 12 inches of this model is selected to fire Overwatch, this model can experience this vision. If it does, then until the end of the phase, each time a model in that unit makes an Overwatch attack, a hit is scored on an unmodified roll of 4+.
4+.
And this one is 20 points.
Okay.
So you're paying 20 points to gift a core or character unit a 4+ Overwatch. So you're paying, this is also 1 CP though, because you have to pay the CP to Overwatch.
Okay, so it's... you're
like
paying,
normal.
So you pay the 1 CP to Overwatch, but then you're paying 20 points to have a 4+ Overwatch.
Yes.
And it's a unit that is within 12 inches.
And core or character, Grey Knights.
Pretty much most of your army.
Almost everything.
Besides a Land Raider.
Besides, yeah, a Land Raider or Flyers.
Yeah. So they can't the Flyers I don't think can Overwatch anyway.
But I mean, you usually wouldn't use that on them anyways. I was thinking max squads of infantry to get the most bang for your buck.
Yep.
Or
infantry, Terminators are still infantry, but
yeah, and then I guess Dread Knights too.
It could work on Dread Knights.
You know?
It could work on Dread Knights. That would be,
it'd be 3 side cannon hits getting through typically.
Yes. Yeah, unless you have Drago. If they're affected by Drago, you can still benefit, or any other aura, you can still benefit from those rerolls.
Right.
If you are bringing purgation squads, or you have heavy weapons, those silencers or side cannons there will be not a fun Overwatch to take.
Yeah.
20 points for a semi-situational thing.
My problem with it is when stuff is getting charged, how much of a difference are a bunch of half your Stormbolters or some side cannons gonna make?
I guess it depends on your opponent.
It does.
If you are playing Tyranids, and now we have our absolutely insane Gene Stealer bomb.
Yeah.
That is going to hit you.
That's true.
Hitting Stormbolter shots. Every Stormbolter is a pretty good chance of killing a Gene Stealer.
Yeah, and if it's a max squad, you're basically going to get half of your normal hits through.
That's 20 hits through.
Yeah, which I mean, it will kill
wounds,
some of them.
10 wounds, that's what is that?
Depends
4,
on
5, 6 stead Gene Stealers. That
Yeah.
saves you 50 attacks that you're gonna take on.
So in that situation, yeah, use
Other
it.
situations, if you're charged by a tank or something, maybe not. But again, it's 20 points, and you are limited to how many of these you can take because you're limited by how many characters you have.
You're only going to have probably 2 to 5 characters in your army.
I guess I would say is this: if you know, again, I'm not a huge fan of list tailoring, but if you know you're going up against Tyranids or Orcs or like
Gene
Khorne,
Stealer Colt.
Gene Stealer Colt, something
Yeah.
that likes to charge, you might want to throw this in. Otherwise, if
Yeah.
you're playing an all-comer list, it might not be worth it.
It seems too expensive to me and swingy to be in an all-comers list, but it's the first one, and it's all right.
It's not bad.
We're not rating them numbers rating, but we'll just say if it's good or bad at the end, I guess.
Yeah, I'll give it a thumbs up.
Yeah, it gets
Thumbs slightly up, like a 8 o'clock.
a wiggling
3
thumbs
o'clock,
up. Yeah. So that's the first one. Second one is called Heroism's Favor. This one is pretty simple. Once per battle at the end of your opponent's charge phase, you can select a friendly Grey Knight core unit within 12 inches. That unit can perform heroic interventions.
Once per battle at the end of your opponent's charge phase. Within...
So
it's a heroic intervention. Okay, I thought it was a 12-inch heroic intervention.
No, that's
Wow.
the distance that you can, the distance you can reach to give a core unit this ability.
How many
Now,
points is that one?
This one is 15.
15 points.
I like this. This is one of the ones that I think is in the upper tiers. But the only, I mean, it's not a downside, but what I think you should keep in mind is Grey Knights don't have that many units on the field. Your stuff is going to be kind of spread out, but if you're going all in on an objective, you have a couple units, it could be helpful.
And it
could be helpful.
It could be good. Again, you can use that to take an objective with, say, Strike Squad or an Interceptor. Let's go Interceptor Squad because that'll come up more important. So you put it on Interceptor Squad, and that squad is on the objective. Now, if you place them on that objective properly, if your opponent tries to tow in with an objective secured unit to take it, you will be able to heroically intervene into that unit and kill them.
Right.
It is a way to deny some objectives there.
Yeah. So I guess generally, I mean, you obviously, I think you'd want to have 2 units there so that if one gets charged, you can counter intervene. You know what I mean?
That could work too.
That, and then what you just said, it's a pretty straightforward one.
Yeah.
It's not super crazy.
I think it's got its use. Using heroic intervention on units of infantry is a niche, but when it comes up in a game, especially tournament games where every move matters, it's something that can make a big difference.
You can use it on regular Dread Knights as well.
I would
Their
not
core.
want Dread Knight to heroically intervene into me.
Yeah, and then I guess the other part of it is if your opponent knows you have this, it might make them
They have to think
weary.
about it.
Yeah.
They might have to think about it too.
Yeah.
This is one of those gotcha moments. If you haven't seen my video a while back, this is one of those gotcha things that I would mention to my opponent before the battle begins to remind them, hey, I can do this once per game. So
it's the kind thing to do.
Yeah.
You're playing a game and you want to not be...
Exactly.
You don't want to get somebody.
So still, I'd give it a wiggly thumbs up. I think it has its niche. It'll just come down to what sort of list you're bringing. But if you have room for it, I like it.
I like it on like a chaplain or apothecary just because they're probably not going to have one of the other
apothecary
upgrades.
That's a good one for it.
That's where I've had it when I'm building lists.
Sure.
So yeah, that gets a little bit higher. I would say like 9 or 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
I guess for you guys it's this way. Next up we have A Noble Death. Now this one has the potential to be very useful, especially in high competitive games. It is a 6-inch aura of OBSEC for core and characters. And it does double like every other codex and supplement. It does the doubling thing for your strikes and terminators. So it's also very straightforward.
That gets right off the bat. That gets an A+ for me.
Yeah. Now I wonder though. I need to do a tournament and see how this fares against like different armies, because
Sure.
I mostly just play Craig. But in our games that we've played, I feel like I'm either on an objective or I'm not with Grey Knights.
Sure.
I don't know. I think this is more valuable than I think it is. Because to everyone else who I've listened to and who's like talked about this codex, they say it's really good.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, I think it should be really good.
And the big thing is you are going to want to have to contest the middle with your troops, whether it's your Terminators or your Strike Squad or your Interceptors.
Yeah.
Now your Interceptors who are super fast
Yeah.
can maintain objective secured.
I'd say that's probably the best absolute use of this vision is that if you deep strike, say a Warlord, up into your opponent's face, then you can either just move or shunt or jump your Interceptors. It's basically a Strike Squad with OBSEC with just a different psychic power.
Yeah.
That'd be the only difference.
That's great. You can put it on your Dread Knights.
Yep.
So now if your Dread Knight is in your opponent's backfield beating up some enemy gunline units or something, now he has OBSEC, and normally enemy gunline units do not have OBSEC. So that he can just snag an objective from an opponent. Again,
That's
it
true.
has to be a core character, but he can give it to himself.
He gives it to everything within 6. Yeah.
So he will gain it as well. So if you put this on your one, if you're taking multiple Grandmaster Dread Knights, you put that on the one that is going to be going YOLO all the way forward.
By himself.
Now he's a threat to snag objectives. Because when I play,
it can make a big difference.
Tyranids, I do like to keep a Gaunt squad behind for reasons of screening and holding those backfield objectives.
Yeah.
But as soon as you kill 10 Termagants, which you can easily do
with his guns,
now a single objective secure model screws up everything for me.
That's very true.
That's very powerful.
Yeah.
It will take some learning.
Some skill, I think, to make it matter.
To figure out when is the best time to use this.
Yeah.
But when it does happen, it can flip a game completely. Because that can be, in a lot of games, the difference of you guys splitting 10 points or you getting 15 and your opponent getting 5.
Yeah.
Which that 10-point difference can flip any game in competitive 40K.
Yeah. Let's say high skill cap or higher skill cap.
Definitely.
But gets a straight up thumbs up. It's 20 points, by the way. And every single one of these are once per battle.
Once per battle,
Yeah.
Not bad. Okay.
20 points, I'd say it's worth it.
I do too.
And now we mentioned this in one of our more recent videos. I forget which one, but this is one I would say is not worth it.
Okay.
This is the Omen of Incursion. Now, it sounds really good at first, so bear with me. Once per battle, at the end of your opponent's reinforcement step of their movement phase, this model can experience a vision. If it does, select a Grey Knight core or character unit that is not in engagement range of the enemy. Is there a distance here? That unit is within 12 inches. Yeah, it's a 12-inch bubble. It says it at the bottom for some reason. Basically, that unit that you selected can shoot as if it was the shooting phase, but its models can only target a single eligible enemy unit that was set up as a reinforcements.
Okay. So this is the aspect scan.
Yes.
That Grey Knights have access to.
If something is deep striking within 12 inches of you,
you can shoot it. You can pick a character or pick
or core.
Yes.
You can let them shoot it. Now, what video is that we mentioned this in? Do you remember?
The Chaplain video we mentioned.
Chaplain. Oh yeah, that's right.
Using that with the Purgation Squad.
Yes. So that sounds great. Like screening or maybe making your opponent second guess deep striking near you.
Yes.
But
absolutely.
It's 30 points.
That is the biggest downside. That is 30 points.
Yeah.
If it was
20,
even 25, I would almost consider that an auto include, because a lot of armies that aren't playing pure aggression are playing for taking objectives, deep striking in the corners, doing retrieve Octarius data, getting easy points like that.
Yeah. Now this works not just for deep striking as well, right? That works for things walking on.
It's setting up in
because it's reinforcements.
Anything in the reinforcement step.
Right.
So I believe technically that also might count. I have to double check FAQ wording, but I believe you have your Veil of Darkness on the Necrons. You redeploy them in, I believe, the reinforcement step. I could be wrong.
I should have brought my codex. That's at my house.
I could be wrong, but I think that counts too. So if someone does that to you, then you could shoot them there as well.
I mean, that would be really good against a Veil of Dark. Like if a Necron player is dropping 20 warriors with the close range guns in your face.
The Admech can do that too.
You have a teleporty thing?
Admech have a Veil of Darkness as well.
I didn't know that.
It's in the Lucius Relic or Warlord trait. Warlord trait.
And Admech, let's be honest, are even scarier at it because their guns are so good.
I mean, that would be terrifying to take 20 Stormbolters or 10 Stormbolters to the face when I try and pop a unit in. It would force me to stay farther away, which I don't know if I necessarily want to do, but...
I mean, even you could use it on a Grandmaster Dread Knight and just get both of his guns.
Shooting, yeah.
Yeah, it's only a 12-inch range.
That's typical.
That's typical?
That's very typical,
Okay, so that's fine, but I don't know, 30 points. Usually I'm going to be... It depends on like what characters you have in your lists. Mm-hmm. And as we'll get to with the other set of them, there's like 3 or 4 great ones. And I just don't know if I can justify one of my character slots taking that.
Doing this. Yeah, it is situational, and when it does come up, it's really good, but you will play against armies who do not touch reinforcements
like what
if
I played Sam?
He doesn't touch reinforcements.
Sam. Yeah.
If you're playing demons, there's a good chance competitive demons aren't using the reinforcement steps.
No, you just move up.
Aren't doing it.
No.
It's Grey Knights and Tyranids, and then a little bit of Necron.
Thousand Suns have something that lets... I don't know if that's in the reinforcement step, though. They have a Gate of Infinity of their own.
That might count as it, too. So.
Depends on if that... I don't...
Yep.
Maybe as time goes on and more 9th edition codexes come out, I bet almost every army will have something like that.
Yep.
So maybe it will gain...
It could. It just comes down to... I think it has very good potential because if you had that against my Lictors... That would be really annoying because my Lictors are kind of clutch for my secondary scoring.
That could stop.
And that would make me lose potentially a lot of points.
And I mean, it is a free extra turn of shooting. You don't miss out on your next phase or anything, so...
Yeah, it's just a point cost, and you are limited to potentially just 3 of them.
Or maybe 2 if you're doing a patrol or something. You know
or more, I guess you have... Yeah, we'll not ramble too far. I give it a wiggly thumbs up because of the point cost.
I give it straight sideways.
All right.
Yeah. Next up, Presaged Paralysis.
Ooh, that sounds cool.
It's a cool name. Once per battle at the start of your charge phase, if this model is on the battlefield, you can select one enemy unit on the battlefield. Until the end of the phase, that unit cannot fire Overwatch or set to defend. I think this is tied for the worst one with something from the other list. How many times... Craig's played more games and tournaments than me. How many times in 9th edition have you seen Overwatch or set to defend? Besides our Apocalypse game with Sam.
Set to defend can happen. Overwatch...
But how much have you seen it?
Maybe once a tournament. I see it out of 3 games.
Not even once a game.
Not necessarily once a game. Overwatch, I use Overwatch a lot of games.
Do you?
When I bring my barbed hero or my scythe hero duel.
Yeah.
And potentially my
because of his flamer thing?
The flamers.
The flamer.
If you're going up against somebody with a scary flamer, that's great to turn that off. But outside of flamer weapons, and outside of Iron Hand's Upsurge Overwatch,
but that's their own.
That's it.
That's their own thing.
Otherwise, Overwatch never comes up.
Now, it is important. It's 15 points, so it's not that bad.
Not that bad.
And once Tau get a codex, unless they completely fundamentally change the Tau, which they probably will. But I assume they'll still get their Overwatch, some kind of Overwatch thing. Mm-hmm. If you know you're playing Tau...
That's true. If you know you're playing Tau,
once they get better, once they get their codex, then take it.
Yeah.
Or I guess just take it right now. Yeah.
Army-wide Overwatch is like the one minor thing they have going for them.
And I mean, I think Tau right now, Grey Knights are probably one of their best opponents to go against because we are just elite infantry that can get melted if you're not careful. So
yeah, that's true.
Use it against Tau if you feel okay with tailoring your list.
Other than that, don't touch it.
Yeah, if your best friend who you always play plays
Or
down.
if you're playing salamanders, because let me tell
Flamers.
you,
Yeah,
a pair
that's true.
or a group of salamander aggressor flamers on Overwatch is something you do not want to touch. They can melt a hero duel in Overwatch.
So it's definitely got uses.
It's just
When
universal uses, not as much.
no, unfortunately, I think it's one of the worst. But I mean, some of them were bound to be the worst.
Yeah.
You know.
Something's gotta be worse. Yeah.
And now for the final vision, it's called Foretelling of Locusts. This is your redeploy. After both players have deployed their army, select up to 3 Grey Knights core units from your army and redeploy them. And then the other redeploy rules apply, where you have to roll off with your opponent if they can do it too. But essentially, redeploy 3 core units.
Now that is good. That
It is good.
Very good.
Yeah.
And I believe.
30 points.
Okay, so you do pay for it.
You pay for it.
Correct us in the comments if I'm wrong, but I don't think I'm wrong. Is redeploying happens after you roll off to see who goes first.
Oh, that's important.
So you can deploy 3 strike squad units or 3 intercept units on the front line ready to pounce.
And then if you get second,
you deploy them back behind a building or something.
yeah.
I will look for that and I will put it in a pinned comment maybe. Or if someone else finds it for us, that'd be great too.
Help us out.
I am 95% sure you redeploy after you roll who goes first.
I mean, that's a big deal. I don't know the rule either, but it's a simple one. It's essentially 10 points per unit you're being allowed to redeploy. You definitely only want it on a support guy, though, because you're going to want one of the other ones on a non-support guy.
That's fine, because there's no distance or anything to it. It just happens, so you can put it on your apothecary or something. You sit in the backfield. I think that, if you have the points, is a pretty good auto take.
Yeah.
Now, if it's not redeploy before you go, or after you determine who rolls off, it's still useful, not as useful.
Yeah.
But you can bait your opponent into deploying units in the open.
Yeah.
And then you can redeploy them to put them in the backfield.
Will there not be some games, I'm just playing devil's advocate,
Sure.
will there not be some games where it might not be worth it, though? Like, let's say I'm playing your Tyranids, your tournament list. You have your Hive Guard in the middle behind obscuring terrain. I know it's like kind of a cheap example because Hive Guard are so good.
They are good.
But I feel like in certain games, it might not be worth 30 points. Just throwing it out there.
In some instances, yes. It might not be worth the 30 points.
But it is good with Grey Knights because you have to deploy very
You have
carefully.
to be careful. And with an elite army, every movement is very important.
Yeah.
And you can, if you're deploying it, if you deploy one way and your opponent deploys another way, then you can counter that.
Yeah.
Plus, just the mind game of your opponent knowing, hey, 3 of these units are potentially going to change spots. They have to second guess every deployment they do. And that might force them to deploy very defensively on their first turn.
Right. Which is, I guess, kind of a common theme for a lot of these is just making your opponent
think that
decide.
It's a possibility.
Yeah.
So I like it. It is costly, but I would almost give it a thumbs up for auto take.
I think I'll do the same.
If we find the rule and says it is, you do redeploy after the roll off, then yes, thumbs up. If it is before the roll off, then I would give it a shaky thumb sideways.
Thumb sideways. Okay.
Yeah.
So that was the first half.
Okay.
I mean, like that we get so many.
You got a lot of them.
That's cool.
They're pretty good so far.
Most of them are pretty solid. And this one is a little bit more, I mean, it's extremely situational. But let's do the Gifts of the Prescient. I wrote on the Prescience, that's wrong. Oh. But it's fine. First up, we have the True Name Shard. Once per battle at the start of your fight phase, you can select one enemy demon unit within 6 inches of the bear. That unit is not eligible to fight this phase until after all eligible units from your army have done so.
Well, if you're playing demons,
it's really good.
Auto take.
Think about if a Bloodthirster charges you. Or a, how would that work with the Slanesh Keeper of Secrets?
This specifically says
Right.
it cannot fight until all eligible units have done so.
So that overrides.
So that will override
fight
it.
first.
I believe so. If it doesn't, what it does is it counters each other out.
Equals
so
it.
then they count as normal.
So it's a once per battle makes a demon fight last. It's, oh, by the way, it is the only 10-point one.
Makes sense.
So if you're fighting demons or Death Guard or 1,000 Suns where you know your opponent will have
Demon Prince,
a demon unit, it's very good and very worth 10 points. Now, you can't bring this in a tournament.
Well, probably should.
I don't think you should.
Unless you just have 10 points and have the slot. Because, I mean...
I guess.
Telling Mortarion to fight last.
Yeah.
And telling...
Magnus
to... Not that Magnus wants to be in combat, but telling him to be last.
Yeah.
And Keepers of Secrets are still consistently placing in top 10s. People are still bringing those to tournaments. So if you're playing a GT, I would bet that you will see at least... So for every 15 players, I bet one person brings a demon army of 3 keepers.
3 keepers, Exalted keepers.
Do Chaos Knights have the demon keyword? They have a demon engine keyword, so I don't know if that counts. This is just pure demon.
I don't know if that counts. I
don't think it does, because I think demon engine and demon are separate keywords, and I don't know if they have
That's interesting, because like Hellbrutes
are demon engines.
And they
have the 5.
I think you're right, they're different.
They are different. So it is just pure demon. Again, you're playing demons. If you want to list Taylor Epic, this will do really well.
I think you're right, though. Maybe in a tournament, if you have 10 points and you don't need to put a Thunderhammer anywhere.
You don't need to put another one of these.
Yeah, you could throw it on if you have an extra character. Yeah.
I mean, it can be game changing to make something like that fight last. So.
Yeah. All right.
But it's just,
it's our cheapest one, and it's the least, I don't know. It's our cheapest one, and it could have some uses. Next up, we have what I think is actually the worst one. Before battle, select one area terrain feature that is not within your opponent's deployment zone and note it down secretly.
Ooh.
I feel like I have it in the slides here, but I feel like it's a 5th edition rule.
It is, it feels like it.
The first time an enemy unit starts or ends a move on or within that terrain feature, reveal your choice and roll 1d6. On a 2+, the enemy unit suffers d3 mortal wounds. So it's a smite that almost always goes off if you step in a terrain feature.
Now, is it just the first time it is?
It's a once.
The first time an enemy.
Yeah, it's only once per battle. You get 1 use. You have like a psychic claymore down, basically.
It is. It's 15 points.
I just don't think that's worth it at all.
Not worth it at all.
Plus, if you're playing the game how you should, you have to show your opponent your list before the game.
And they'll know. I mean, you have to tell them this.
So you basically, it's either going to be in one of 2 terrain pieces or one of 3, depending on the board.
Probably.
Because you'll have to pick in the middle.
I mean, it could be in your deployment zone, technically.
I know, but
you want to probably put one in the middle deployment zone, so it's in one of 3 spots, and they'll just know, okay, I will touch this unit with the chaff model right
It's only D3 mortal, you know what I mean?
You could kill a Gaunt. For 15 points, you could kill a 5-point Termagant.
Yeah, exactly.
Or you could do 3 wounds to a Knight. But
you could kill a Blade Guard, but I highly doubt it.
Yeah.
Because you won't put your Blade Guard in terrain. Yeah. There's no need to anyways with that unit, but unfortunately Temporal Bombs is a big stinker. Big stinker for me. So we'll move on. I think this is probably the best one. You've seen me use it in every single battle report so far. Servant of the Throne. Once per battle, when the bearer is selected as the target of an attack, it can use this gift. If it does, until the end of the turn, the bearer has a 3-up invulnerable save. End of the turn. That's very important.
Not battle round.
Not battle round. So it's not too complicated. Put it on your Grandmaster Dread Knight.
Yep. Give him a 3-up invuln.
Give him a 3-up invuln for a whole turn.
Absolutely insane, the durability that provides.
Yeah, I mean, you know what it is.
Yeah.
It's the only other way to get a 3-up invuln in your whole army besides Drago for the Grey Knights. Use it every single time on your Grandmaster in Dread Knight.
That seems just like an auto take.
Yep.
Absolutely. 2 thumbs up for that one.
Yeah.
It is how many points, just so we make sure we cover that?
It is 20 points.
That's not even bad.
No, and that's how you get your Dread Knights up to 230 or 235 is by adding that in.
That's still not that bad.
It's still not that bad.
It is a one-time, so one negative to it. It is a one-time use thing.
Yeah.
So your opponent could bait,
you
out.
Yeah.
And say, okay, do you want to take this shot on the invuln?
Yeah.
And if you do, then I won't target this. So you got to make sure you use it at the right time and make sure you're using it at a point where
be aware
has no other options.
of what they've shot too.
So I'll say if you are Tyranid fans watching this, our exocrines are the best example of this. So we can we don't have to declare both volleys of our shots. We count as 2 separate units in shooting.
Shoot one volley at them.
Yep, you shoot the one volley, like you want to take it. If they say no, then shoot the second volley. If they do, then direct the second volley elsewhere.
Yeah, but I also think that can be helpful trying to force your opponent to shoot other things if you want him to get up close.
Or you just make it so that the heavy shooting doesn't have any target but him. Force them to shoot him.
Yeah.
I mean, it'll require some thinking, and it's just not an auto, I'm going to, walk over my opponent with it.
Yeah.
But it's good.
I also think, last thing we'll say about Servant of the Throne is that using it in conjunction with the Sigil of Exigence relic could make him even more survivable. Yep. You could redeploy on one turn, and then maybe turn 2, you save the 3-up invuln for turn 2.
Invuln, yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Or
it's just really good.
Or redeploy him closer to your enemy,
and then
use
pop
a
it.
3-up invuln. It's like, well,
because then you get it in close combat too. If you get charged right away,
you could heroically intervene with him.
Yeah. There's some really cool stuff you could do with it. It's auto include for me.
Definitely.
It's the best one. Next up is a more complicated one. I actually cut it off there, but I have it right here. It's called the Deluminator of Majesty.
Ooh.
Really cool names for all these. When you give a model this gift, select a bolt weapon that the model is equipped with. Once per battle, when the bearer shoots with that weapon, you can choose to fire a Deluminator of Majesty bolt. If you do, you can only make one attack with that weapon. But if it scores a hit against a demon unit until the start of your next shooting phase, that unit loses any aura abilities it has in addition to any normal damage. So you just need to hit something, which you're close to guaranteed to, with a bolt weapon. So you put this on a
Grandmaster.
Regular guy, like an infantry guy.
Oh, it can go on just a regular infantry boy.
It has to, because they have the bolt weapons.
Oh.
Dread Knights do not have bolts.
I was thinking like you can't put it on a strike squad.
No. No, these are all just characters.
Right. That's what I thought.
So it's essentially if you hit a demon unit, again a demon, it will lose its aura abilities.
That's crazy.
So I was thinking, obviously these demon ones, all of them are really good in Crusade if you're playing against demons.
Yep.
You have to pay requisition, but that's a different topic. If you're playing Bellicor,
I forgot about him.
I mean,
yeah,
that's a very specific list. But that would neuter Bellicor so bad for one turn, and probably allow you just to murder him.
Another one that would be good against is Keeper of Secrets.
Yeah,
now
always.
Where there's one, there's probably two more in terms of keepers.
But this could allow you to kill them faster.
So you can isolate them out.
Yeah.
The only auras though that a keeper has, I believe, is just the reroll, or you can advance in charge, is the aura. But that's big, because if you turn that off, now you potentially slow down a whole flank of your opponents.
If they have demonettes or something.
Yeah, because that's when I play him. You have the keeper, and the keeper gives the fiends advance in charge, and then the fiends can move, 14 plus 3d6 inches up the table.
Woo!
So, but if you turn that off, then
Yeah.
that's d6 less inches they can do,
Yeah.
potentially making that threat range. So
again,
against demons,
Yeah.
A plus.
yep.
Against anything else,
It literally does nothing.
nothing. 0.
0 grade. Yeah, we can't even grade it against
You
other
get
stuff.
nothing.
So that is is it second or third thing that's just for demons? Second.
Second one.
So that's the only. Yeah, those two are the only ones that are just for demons. But I mean, we're Grey Knights. I am fine.
Expect it, yeah.
I'm fine with 2 of them only doing stuff to demons.
Mm-hmm.
And again, Crusade. Those are worth saving up for requisition
Absolutely.
points. But yeah, it's pretty straightforward. Second to last here is the Gem of Anoktu. You have also seen this in multiple battle reports that I have played against Craig.
Yes.
Generally used on a librarian or whoever is casting your Dominus support powers. Essentially, once per battle, in the psychic phase, you can add 2 to all Dominus powers you're using that phase. This assures that you change the tide, unless your opponent denies it. And it makes all the other Dominus powers much more likely to go off.
Some of them are pretty high,
Yeah, they go up to 7.
which is
Gate is warp charge 7.
pretty high for.
It's pretty high.
Are the Brotherhood powers? Are they technically Dominus?
No.
They're just Brotherhood powers.
They are not. Only these 6 are Dominus.
Okay.
Now, let's see. Now, a use of this that I didn't actually think about, you could throw this on a Grandmaster Dread Knight, because it would help you get Empiric Amplification off.
Yes.
Instead of using the strat for 3d6 dice, it'd make it easier. And now the +2, say I roll 7 on this,
Yep.
it goes to 5. Do you have to beat when you're
to 9.
denying?
Goes to 9.
Oh, sorry, 9.
Yep.
Do you have to roll
You have to beat. Denying has
with
to
my
beat.
modifiers?
Yes. So if you want to do a little math,
Yeah.
I know this because I've done this with my Tyranids a lot.
Yeah.
So 3d6, take the 2 highest.
Yeah.
The average is roughly 8.5.
Yeah.
So then you do 2d6 plus 2, average is 9.
Oh, yeah.
So statistically,
It's
it
more
is better,
consistent.
it's more consistent to take the +2, then do the 3d6. Unless you can re-roll the 3d6 for whatever reason,
No.
then it bumps it up to be about the same. But
It's not that different though.
it's not that different, but an 8.5 means you are not on average, you're not guaranteed to get it. You
Yeah.
need a little bit of luck. Whereas with the +2, you just, on average, you do it every time.
With the +2, you're paying just flat points for a once per game thing. With the 3d6, it's a 1 CP strat that you use whenever you need it. So it's kind of weighing those 2 options. Yeah, that's interesting. I've thought about it mostly with just the support guy, the support librarian, but maybe if you have 2 Grandmaster Dread Knights, it would be useful because
Right, because you're going to give one of them servant to the throne.
you're going to give probably your Warlord servant to the throne. But now I'm thinking, I actually didn't think about this until now, but yeah, Empiric Amplification is so powerful, especially if you're running multiple Dread Knights, which you should be.
Now, can someone else is Empiric Amplification only on the user? No,
No,
it's
no,
the
no.
target.
You target the enemy, and when they are shot or hit in melee with a nemesis or psi weapon.
So you put it on your librarian still, but you use it for Empiric Amplification. That your librarian, sure, he has to be closer potentially.
Yeah,
but
that's the thing I was thinking. And Empiric Amplification it's only a 12-inch range.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's tough.
That's why I was thinking Grandmaster Dread Knight, because
You're gonna be there.
you gate one of them up, and then you could shunt or just move your 9. You're probably close enough to shoot, and then it's just it improves the damage that Dread Knights can do by so much that it might be worth using the gem on.
Yeah. Okay. I think it's a great one.
Yeah, I think so too.
It is one-time use, so
It's 15 points only too.
it's not bad.
I think it's worth it for 15 points.
I like it. Yeah, I take it a lot of the time.
Yeah. So finally, we're at the last one. It is called the Severance Bolt.
Ooh.
which is cool. It's like you're being fired, but from living. And basically, it's kind of wordy, but when you give a model with this gift, when you give a model this gift, select one bolt weapon, again, bolt weapon. Before the battle, select one enemy character unit. Once per battle, when the bearer shoots with that weapon, you can choose to fire a severance bolt. If you do, you can only make one attack with that weapon, so you only get to roll 1 dice.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, right. But when selecting a target, you can ignore the Lookout Sir rule as long as you select the character that you chose at the beginning. When making an attack with a severance bolt against the character that you chose, if it successfully hits, so once again, you just need to hit, the target suffers D3 mortal wounds. So that's what it does to a normal target. And then if they're a psyker, roll 3d6. If the result exceeds the target's leadership, randomly select one psychic power that it knows. The psyker cannot use the psychic power for the rest of the battle. So
How many points is it?
It is 30.
Oh,
It's 30 also.
Little pricey.
So I actually wrote it wrong in my next slide here. I didn't realize that it eliminates it for the rest of the battle. You have that with Tyranids with
Psychic Scream.
Psychic Scream.
It's the same. It is the same rule pretty much.
So again, the problem is that if the enemy isn't a Psyker, you're not really getting the full use out of that 30-point upgrade. D3 mortal wounds, so you're getting a free smite that ignores the closest
That
rule.
part is really nice.
But is that worth 30 points?
No. If that was a 10 or 15 point one,
And it just did that? I'd be fine with that.
I mean, that would be cool. Put it on your apothecary or a banner guy or...
You could smite... No, even AdMech characters have 4 wounds now, don't they?
Everything except for a few Imperial Guard
That makes sense.
have 4 wounds minimum. And most Space Marines are packing 5 or 6 wounds.
Yep.
Some of them you can get up to 9.
So you won't kill a character, but you can start to damage them.
And like you were saying, you could pair that with the smite and just do 2d3 mortal wounds to it right off the bat.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah. It's 30 points for a targeted smite with a bonus of probably eliminating a psychic power.
Yeah, I guess the average leadership of a psyker is 9, and the average of 3d6 is 10 to 11.
So it's close to a 50-50 shot. A little more,
on average,
a little less.
you should do it.
Depends on the leadership, obviously,
Yeah.
but it's not horrible like the temporal bombs. I hate the temporal bombs. But it has more uses.
It's too many points. That's the mere. If it was half as much, it would be awesome. It's just too many points. And
another issue is that you only get 1 shot.
Yeah.
I mean, you're hitting on 2s,
and you can re-roll it.
Yeah, I know. That's not really a problem.
It's not too much of a problem. You don't have to roll the wound or anything. It just does. Now that would be good for you against me because
be great against Tyranids.
Tyranids taking D3 mortal wounds, we never like that.
But the psychic power.
The psychic power would be huge. That thing.
Imagine getting rid of Catalyst.
Going after my Neurothropes.
Yep.
Who hide back there with a 3-up invone.
Yeah.
That's nasty.
Yeah, I think against Tyranids, Thousand Suns, Harlequins and Eldar, Death Guard, and I already said Thousand Suns, but just the stuff with Psychers, especially the armies that are not Thousand Suns, because you only have a couple Psychers. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? That would actually be even better against them.
So that's cool. I can't argue with it except for the point cost. I'll argue that it's, I would say, at least 10 points too much.
I know. That and the redeploy, they're great abilities. But are they worth 30 points? That's the predicament.
I think the redeploy is a lot more than this one because it's universal.
Yeah, it will always. Yeah.
Yeah. So that is those.
That's all 12.
A few more notes. Do we want to go over them or do we pretty much cover?
I mean, we mostly went over them. Maybe we'll put them up on the screen and they can check it out.
Yeah.
If you,
we might put them up there.
Yeah. Basically, we don't need to actually go through all of them. Let's go to the last slide there. I love that we got 12 of these. I think most other codex has got a few less. It helps because we have not that many units, and before this codex came out, we didn't have that many ways to customize our list. I mean, I used to run the same list every single game against Craig back in 5th and 6th and 7th. I like this. It makes your characters a little more unique. They can have a little more variety. There's a couple really standout ones. A Noble Death is the objective secure one. It just seems like it will be useful. Servant of the Throne. Little ding, my bad.
No
Servant of the Throne is the 3-up info, auto include if you have a Grandmaster and a Dread Knight. And the Gem, if you have multiple Grandmaster Dread Knights or you just want your support librarian to be that much better in one turn.
Yeah. And one thing, I agree with everything you said. I think they're great for the most part. One thing we didn't touch on in this video, because this is more geared towards competitive more so.
Yeah.
You can take these in Crusade, right?
Oh yeah.
So
you just have to save up for them with requisition.
Some of these are a lot more viable and practical in a Crusade game
yes.
than they are in a competitive where you're trying to inch everything out
yeah.
of every point.
That's
which
true.
Is great because not everyone is playing competitive. I'm sure you guys would comment below. I'm sure not everyone is playing competitive.
Yeah.
A lot of people are just playing Crusade. They're just playing the
You're
models
right.
they have.
And I think we tend to lean towards the competitive stuff because that's just how we like to think, you know, what's the strongest. But yeah, I mean, just for example, the Augury of Aggression, the Overwatch thing in a Crusade game, if you can get a good Overwatch in, that could be huge.
Yeah.
So just a little example.
Just one thing. I don't want to say that some of them are useless because if you are playing Crusade, you do have an element of, okay, I can tailor. But if you're doing a Crusade league, not as much. But if you're doing a one-on-one Crusade,
I mean, you actually know what your opponent will be.
You know what your opponent's doing. You kind of tailor and build and kind of.
If you're doing a Grey Knights versus Demons or Chaos Crusade, take the Demon ones because they're cool.
Yeah. That'd be cool.
I think there's some good stuff. And I'm happy that we have some cool choices.
Yeah. So that will cover our Wisdom of the Prognosticars video.
It's a pretty simple one.
Let us know. It is pretty simple. Let us know what you guys think about this. Is there a combo or something we missed out of these?
Yeah.
Maybe you're finding use of one a lot more than we thought you would, or maybe you've used one of them a lot more and you find it's not as useful as it sounds.
Please tell us because Craig just got the Warzone Octarius book, and I'm scared of his Tyrannus now. So
they're coming.
I want help.
So thank you guys again for watching. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already. And if you do want more content from us and want to help support the channel, do consider becoming a member. It does go a long way, and it again just helps us grow this channel one step at a time. We will leave it there. Stay tuned to more videos, including Grey Knights versus Tyranids coming soon. Hopefully that'll be out for you guys in a short while. We'll catch you next time. Thanks again for watching, and have a good day.
Thanks, guys.